Hi, thank you for coming to your high school and helping us with this is Ruby the Lit Mag, called The Mill. You're going to be on our fiction section, and I think we want to start this interview off by asking, why did you choose the title Gratitude in Low Voices?
Thank you, Richard, and many thanks to Scott for his persistence. Uh, so I'm delighted to be here, and again, thank you for inviting me. The title, Gratitude in Low Voices. Uh, it's actually buried in the book. If you look at, I believe it's page 36 to 37, uh, there is the expression of my mom when I came from school that describes the true meaning of the title. Usually, when I came home with one or two points low in my grades, if I get 9 out of 10, 18 out of 20, one of the first things that my mom would say was, what were you doing in the class? Were you sleeping in the class to do that bad? And I usually responded by saying, Mom, this is not a bad grade. There are a lot of other kids who did worse. And she would say, well, those are not my kids. You are. And somehow I took that habit because I see the same things to my kids as well. So starting on page 36, there is this, let me read a portion of it. So my mom would say, those are not my kids, son. Our exchange would continue. We'd conclude with my mom pulling me closer for a warm hug. This time though, mom's tone was more of excitement and elation. Grace be upon all the saints for delivering my prayers to our Father in heaven. Thank you, Saint Mary, for watching over my family. Thank you, Government First Kudus, for this day. The gratitude will continue in low voice for me to hear until tears started welling up in my mom's eyes. Mom then looked up at me with a big smile, somewhat trying to hide her emotions. Mom's low voice and her broad smile were the most powerful expressions of love and compassion no amount of words could express. That is where gratitude in low voice came from.
So, how would you say that religion and culture has shaped who you are and how you grew up? And how much of an impact has religion and culture had on your views of the world?
The advantage I have over others, well, when I say I, especially Eritreans in general, have is that the country is 50% Christian and 50% Islam. And you hear the expression that people tolerate each other. In Eritrea, religious differences are not tolerated, they are celebrated. You see so many inter-religion dinners. You see friendships across multiple religions. So that level of inclusion is not just tolerance, but also celebrating the differences. And this goes for ages. I'm talking about 300, 400, 500 years. So that shaped my view to be more cautious of the individual in their behavior, as opposed to their belief, their religion, and other aspects that may not be the same as well. For me, the value is very important. My parents' religious and faith shaped me in such a way that the moral values that they instilled on me, as illiterate as they are, their guiding principle, their moral value came from their religion and from their religion. And that also became a guiding principle for me.
Okay, so this is more of a fun question, but we were wondering how many languages you speak.
I speak Tigrinya, Amharic, and somewhat English very well. And I can read in all those languages and write fluently. I can also get by, to an extent, in Kiswahili, Arabic, and some Italian.
That's impressive.
So, we're wondering, what does your book gain from the addition of the historical timelines of Eritrea, the family tree, the map of Asmara, and the many family photos throughout the book?
One of my favorite actors, Denzel Washington, once said, if you read the newsletter, the newspaper, you are misinformed. If you don't read the newspaper, you are uninformed. And the point he's trying to make was context. They do not give you the context. They are so much rushing into breaking news to be the first one to tell the news. You don't get the context. And telling my story without giving the context of the journey my parents traveled, my grandparents traveled, the population, the Eritrean people traveled throughout the many generations in terms of their historical voyage, I would be doing a disservice to the people who are reading my manual. If I mention Asmara and I don't give you the context of the society that make up the city, then I am giving you a window that may not give you the picture of the entire house. So the genealogical lineage, that's more or less for my own kids and future generations, to tell them that I was not just a leaf that branched off a tree and the wind or the wave or the water brought it to the United States. I have roots and they have roots and they can track it down. I have done my part and it's up to them to do their part.
Thank you. And a follow-up question to that. How long did it take for you to compile all of those resources and pictures and history that go into your book? How did you find all of the resources necessary?
It's twofold. The pictures, I'm extremely grateful to my mother. She kept track of every piece of paper that I wrote since first grade. Pictures. She kept everything. So I went to ask, Mom, do you have any? She was like, she just gave me a suitcase. I heard it. The rest, I studied biophysics. And that is a research. So if I get a single word, trust me, I will find where that word or that phrase came from. I am well-trained researcher. So that does help. And also, being a software engineer, with technology, with the internet, it becomes a lot easier for those who are interested and who have an idea of what they are looking for.
Thank you.
So, do you think that most students at Magruder or generally in Maryland can relate to your experience of moving from a village to a city? Was your move from Arihan to Asmara unique from other moves from your rural to urban areas?
I think, yes, that detail is important, but overall, the book is actually, it's a universal human story. It is maybe 30% might be my story, but the other 30% is the people, the good people that I met along the way. And I call them angels without wings. Uh, those people, they are not related to me in any way or shape. Not by blood, not by race, not even by geographical location. We just met. But they proved to me the decency of humanity. And that's universal. And in terms of moving from, again, Atahayo to Asmara, it's unique to me. You may not find that level of both emotional and psychological transformation within the United States because of the way the society is formed. But in terms of the human nature, in terms of the story of human interaction, in terms of people helping each other, again, I'm talking about people who have nothing in common. Beatrice Newell, my counselor at Springbrook High School, she's an immigrant from Germany. I am an immigrant from Eritrea, South Africa. We just met. And what that lady did for me, I cannot think anyone I would call a parent would do for their offspring or for their kids. So those are the lessons that I think are more, that resonate with the rest of the Magruder, Springbrook, and other communities, either here or somewhere else.
So you managed to balance a huge move to America, high school education, and a job all at the same time. How were you able to manage all of this? And are there any tips or strategies you'd like to share?
It would be unfair for me trying to describe my time management skills of that time based on what I know now, because I could lie to you, I could tell you I had an amazing time management skills. I didn't. What I can tell you is, there is one common factor for a lot of people to succeed in life. And success is defined however you want. Meaning, to me, if you find something you like and you are able to do that for the rest of your life, you are lucky, that's success. So, I was fortunate enough to land at Springbrook. And then also to find guidance that actually asked me what I'm interested in, and they were able to help me take those classes. I'm still good in math. So when I was working at KB Movie Theater, you sell tickets, we sell concessions, and then while people are watching the movies, we have about an hour and a half free time. I used to go on the other side, do my homework, study physics, math, all that stuff. So, why did I do those things? I think, one, I enjoyed the classes that I was taking. Number two, I was focused on my education. So the work, all the other things that I was doing, I knew it was in support of my education. So my advice would be, minimize what you want. The more options you give yourself, the more distracted you will be. Minimize on what exactly you are interested in and try to focus on it. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, it doesn't have, but if you give yourself, if you are interested in so many things that you have on your cell phone, the social media activities, your time will be gone without, like every day, 5, 6 hours will be completely wasted. If you know you are interested, as Rachel, in journalism, whatever she does, if she directs her energy, the YouTube videos that she watches, the news articles that she gets alerts, all that stuff, if it is directed to journalism, she can do a lot of things within the 10 or 12 hours that she the same thing. So to me, it's focus, and hopefully you will find out what you are interested in early. That's very important.
Thank you.
So in your book, you mentioned a lot about how important getting your education was, but you also mentioned how important like experience and mentorship was, like how you had your apprenticeship back in Eritrea and how your mom really pushed that. And I want to ask, to what extent does education succeed mentorship or experience and vice versa? Which one has shaped you more, or how do they work
Hello,
together?
this is a reminder that Mean Girls' first showing is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Tickets are available to be purchased online using the QR codes. The other showings are Saturday the 4th, Friday the 10th, and Saturday the 11th, all at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Well, again, I will try to quote, if I remember, Denzel Washington, who said, "Show me a successful person, and I will show you someone who positively influenced that person," and that's the mentor. So, mentorship helps you because the person will share with you the mistakes that they made so that you can make your own mistakes. Education is important if you are learning. There's a difference between learning and getting educated. You could read all those books, pass all the exams, and then get all the grades. But if you are clueless of the application of the knowledge that you are acquiring, then the education becomes a limitation to you actually, more than becoming an asset. So internships and practical experiences would be extremely helpful. In my case, even though I studied biophysics, from freshman year at Hopkins, I was working at the computer science department. I actually had practical experience of 4 years by the time I graduated. In fact, for one semester, I was a TA, a teaching assistant. I actually taught a computer science class when I was a freshman. So the education is important. I wouldn't undermine it, but application of that education through internships would be more helpful to the individual. By the way, I give you an example. My son, our oldest son, he graduated from high school, went to UMBC, and he started studying chemical engineering. On his freshman year, during the summer at the end of his freshman year, he got an internship at Rensselaer University in New York. He came back, and the first thing he told me was, "Dad, I do not like chemical engineering. I want to change my major. This is not what I want to do for the rest of my life." He changed his major, he graduated, he is doing well. So it is important because the minute you apply what you think you know, that will help you in terms of, do you actually enjoy the application of that knowledge?
That's really useful. Thank you.
So some would say your memoir is reminiscent of the classic American dream type story. Do you agree with this, and do you believe that the American dream exists?
I think, unfortunately, it is over bloated, the concept of the American dream. To me, the beauty of the American dream is the concept of hard working. The people in this country work hard. I have been to a lot of places, Americans work hard. That should be the definition of the American dream. Otherwise, it will mislead us, because the beauty of this country is, for the majority, you get in as much as you put in. You get out whatever amount that you put in. That to me should be the definition of the American dream. Otherwise, if we take the concept of the American dream based on what we see in the social media, based on what's in the mainstream media, it's so glamorized that it defeats the purpose because it gives you the notion that individual success is what American dream is all about. I don't believe it. It is the society, the frameworks that you have within the different communities that allow you to work hard and earn as much as you put in. To me, that is the definition. So I just want to make sure we are using the same terminology. We are defining American dream, not based on someone because they became a millionaire. I seriously doubt if that's the true definition of a dream. Because first, it's too small to the point that you have so many people that are supporting their family, that are making a difference in their communities. Because you're not seeing them, you get the perception that they have not realized America. In actuality, they have. Because they have become part of they have integrated themselves to the society, and they have become part of the society that is contributing to the betterment of their society, of the society that they have become part of. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
So, what are some key takeaways that everyone can take away from your novel? How relatable do you think the story is to people who don't have an immigrant experience, and what can they take away from it?
You don't need to have immigrant experience in order to be grateful to people who help you. It's a gratitude in low voice. When I am stuck in the wall, I push the wall, I'm not able to pass. I pushed it again, I couldn't pass. I couldn't push it for the third time, I couldn't. And then someone looks at me, holds with my hand, and shows me there is another way to go this way. That act to that person might be small, but to me, it's a matter of day and night. They were able to help me break that wall, take me through, and show me how to pass it. So it is my responsibility to remember that and to be grateful. So to me, that's universal. It's not specifically of immigrant experience. The second one is the historical significance, which is about 40 to 50% of the book is about history. And you don't have to be an immigrant to appreciate history and to try to have a better perspective of others. Those who are comfortable with themselves are the ones who are comfortable with others.
And Eritrea achieved its independence May 24th, 1991. Can you describe how you felt on that momentous occasion?
I had a mixed feeling. I really wanted to go back to Eritrea. But I did not have the skills. I was a barely high school student. To me, because my focus was, I'm here, I'll finish high school, I'll finish college, and I'll go back home. So I'm here in the middle of high school, and my country got its independence. So it was a mixed feeling. And actually, that helped me to work harder in my school. Remember, my dream is I got to go back. And for me to go back, I had to get my education done. So that became almost an engine for me to graduate from high school in 2.5 years and to finish my college work at Hopkins in 3.5 years. So basically, it became a fuel for me to expedite my education.
Thank you.
Well, that concludes all of our questions. So thank you so much for all of your well-spoken responses. Now we'd like to open up to any audience questions, if any audience members want to ask questions to our author.
I did. I graduated in 1997. I joined Bloomberg, New York, and worked there for 2 years. And I went back in 1999, and I stayed in Eritrea for 5 years. I started a software development company, and I contributed to the demobilization of about 120,000 soldiers. So,
It's impressive.
Good morning.
thank you. Thank
Errado
you for Stones.
Flores,
It's an amazing
please
book. It's
report to
great.
the attendance office. Errado
Well,
Flores,
since
please
you're the
report to
audience,
the
do
attendance
you have any
office,
questions
grade
for
10.
us?
What is your impression? I'm assuming based on the questions you actually did not only read, but you appreciated the book. So, what's your impression?
Well, I mentioned it before earlier, but I really liked how you, even though it's like your memoir, you really included like all the other people who've like helped you and pushed you on your path, which I feel like goes into the title of Gratitude and Good Voices. You're like thanking all of these people who helped you on your journey. And I thought that was like really nice of you to like commemorate all of those people.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, and I found the book very inspiring. An interesting blend of the past and current history, and an individual journey with definitely highlighting the support of others.
Thank you. On the history aspect, which something that I would like to mention, I think it's George Orwell in 1984, where he wrote, "Those who control the present control the past, and those who control the past control the future." So we have to tell our story with the proper historical context. Otherwise, if I am able to use some human attributes to convince you you are inferior, I am superior, and then if I can use history to prove that to you, I have done my work. Don't have to be any smarter. So it is very important we set the narrative, the historical narrative, and we give proper attention to our history, especially those of us who are recent immigrants. We have better understanding, and we have to be able to convey it in such a way that the population that we live in, we have integrated ourselves with, have a good understanding of where we came from. Yes. Yes. I remember all of them. Miss Beatrice Newell, my counselor. Miss Carolyn Finnegar, my college advisor. Mr. Ishikawa, my math teacher. Mr. Henderson, my physics, honors and AP physics teacher. Mr. Sinkovich, my honors chemistry and yes, AP chemistry teacher. So I do remember all of them. Oh yes, I'm so sorry. The wonderful Miss Abe's house. Yes, amazing. And I have a story about Miss Abe's house. There was a writing assignment, and the assignment was, and actually it is in the book, the assignment was to write about slang words. So 3-4 months arriving in the US, I had no clue what slang meant. So I asked, I did not get the right answer. So I went to the library, I looked slang, and the definition of slang, where the word came from, all that. So she read it. So like, Dawit, you just wrote a definition of slang. I said, yeah. Isn't that the assignment? She's like, no, no, no. Find a slang word. So she gave me a slang word. She gave me more time. And instead of giving me the F, the D that I deserved, she actually gave me a B because she saw my effort. And Miss Atkins, Deborah Atkins, I also have a story for Miss Atkins because she told me 11th grade English, and the assignment was maze because we were dealing with medieval arts. So the maze I knew, I was prepared it, and the assignment was about, I think it was about 2 months. So she kept asking me because they were students were showing their works, and she was asking like, where is your maze? I was like, Miss Atkins, you will be impressed. Don't worry, just give me a B. Then it became what? We had a month and a half. So there was only a couple of weeks left. She was like, Dawit, you better show me because I have to see your studies. So I brought my maze. I actually planted corn. Thinking, what does corn got to do with medieval English? We laughed, she laughed, she gave me more time, actually built a maze, and then she gave me a name. And so, nope. Barely spoke English. I spoke Tigrinya fluently, I spoke Amharic, and I spoke Kiswahili. Well, let's step back. I was a voracious reader, so I finished reading Ian Fleming, who is the founder of James Bond, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, you have Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot, Charles Dickens, Chris Markowell, David Copperfield. So I was an ardent reader. So it did that.
Well, we're almost out of time, but thank you so much for coming. We appreciated all of your answers and responses. And yeah, if you haven't already, please feel free to read the book. It's really great. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and thanks again, Scott.